Morning, everyone. My name is Mike, and I am an alcoholic. And I have been through the process of the steps through the Big Book with the Big Book Step Study sponsor, who's been through one with the Big Book Step Study sponsor meetings like this, people like you, God of my understanding. And I have done a really good chunk of my amends, still have some to go. But I try to work this program to the best of my ability every day. And I also like to say that I am a spiritual giant as long as things are going my way. You know what's messed up? I'm like nervous right now. And to be blunt, I eat this crap up. I'm so self-centered. I just love talking about myself in front of these people. And for 2 hours I get to talk? But I don't know, because you know why? Because for me today, it's real. All this stuff is just so real. When Robin first asked me to speak, I'm like just getting back into like Big Book Step Study. I made these excuses with work, and I've been going to Open AA, and it's just like a slow boil for me. You know, talking with my Big Book Step Study sponsor, who I still have. He's like, you got to get back into it. You got to get back into it. And man, I cracked myself up. I'm not going to lie. But he goes, yeah, you know, you got to get back into it. Like, there's a lot of people out there saying, you know, some really good things that, you know, can really help and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, and also, he says, you have some good things to say that people, you know, should hear. I'm like, really? All right. You know, I'm in. Give me that schedule. I'm going, you know, and, so bottom line is I'm here, and I've been going to Wednesday nights, and I do work on Saturdays. Right now I do have today off, so which is very lucky for me that I get to be here. Not so much you guys, but at least for me. And I'm able to speak here, or at least just be here. You know, I've been going to a couple Wednesday night meetings. I get out of work at 6:30, meeting starts at 7. I work about 15 minutes away, do the math. I can be there, but I'm not. I don't go there. That needs to change. So with that being said, Robin first asked me, you know, to speak in July, and I'm like, the only one I can do would be, you know, July 1st today. And she's like, perfect. And she goes, we're on step 4. And I said, step 4, or the fear part of step 4. And I'm like, the fear. That's my favorite part. And I didn't mean like favorite, but I was being honest, you know, and true. But for me, the fear part of this work was the most eye-opening for me and the most life-changing for me, and made me really realize how fear-based I am. And I had no idea how much fear controlled my life, and it continues to do so today. But just a little bit of background. I've been in and out of the halls for years, since, you know, probably 96, 97. Spouts of, it was actually due to health issues, I wasn't able to drink, so I thought AA was a program to stop drinking, period, you know, and because of these health issues, I wasn't drinking, therefore I didn't need AA because I wasn't drinking, and I had no idea that this here is for me a program of life. Not only, drinking was is just the tip of the iceberg for me, you know, there's so much more involved, but I didn't know that at the time. I went like 11 years without drinking and without program. You know, I was a dry drunk, and I was absolutely miserable, full of fear, full of anxiety, full of everything. And I didn't know why. I just thought I was wired that way, and you know, so be it. I picked up a drink in like 2008 or something, and I had no idea why until I read in this book, I failed to maintain a spiritual connection with the God of my understanding. And in my case, he didn't have a spiritual connection. You know, I grew up Roman Catholic, went to Catholic school. I thought I had that whole God thing down. You know, my God looked like Jerry Garcia with a lightning bolt, and he's gonna kick your butt whenever you do something wrong. And that's different for me today. But I actually ended up going in and out through, you know, other substances and drinking and just anything to get me out of me. You know, I just didn't like where I was at this time. Always looking for the next best thing. Wherever I was, what this meeting, say, is done at like 11:30, so what's going on after that? Where am I going after that? Where, what else is there to do? Instead of being in the right here and right now, which when I practice this program is a great place to be for me. But I ended up, I owned a restaurant. I bought it when I was 21, and I ended up, that was like a monkey selling bananas. That was horrible. But I had the whole, I've had that restaurant for 20 years, 19 years, and we ended up selling it. I had two partners that I just because I was in charge of the book, so I just completely lied, cheated, stole from that place to do my thing. And 4 years ago, a little over 4 years ago, I was just, again, sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I didn't want to get sober around, because I'm originally from Western Mass. And I didn't want to go to Springfield or Northampton or anywhere. I've been there, done that. Plus, I wanted just to get away, and I wanted to hide. So I went to Worcester, and I went through the whole detox rehab thing, and someone mentioned a sober house, which I've never even knew existed. So I went to this sober house on Burncoat Street. And one of the criteria of this sober house is to go to a meeting every day, but also to go to the Wednesday night meeting and the Saturday meeting. And also to get a Big Book Step Study sponsor, and I was just I heard of these meetings, but I'm the only thing that I knew about it and I didn't like is I couldn't talk. I mean, are you kidding me? At the time I'm I have so much to offer and so much, experience and cool stories, but I came here because I had to. And these meetings are the reason why Candy Crush is on my phone, because I needed something to do during these meetings. And something happened to me where, I remember just sitting there and it's I got to sit through this through an hour. And then someone goes, well, it's an hour and a half. I'm an hour and a half? Are you kidding me? But honestly, something happened where I just started, I don't know if I started listening to Grace of God, call it what you will, but it came to a point where I couldn't get enough of these meetings. And I was trying to go to Little Help Boylston Thursday night, anywhere I could go, to the Big Book Step Study meetings. Went to vacation in Florida, traveled a little over an hour to go to Big Book Step Study meetings there. And it was really intense. And when I was working it, and when I was working this program, there'd be points where I used to work in a restaurant in Marlboro where one time on break, I think the sun, this is going to sound so corny, but the sun was setting and I was you know what? And I just thought, I have a job now, I have a safe place to stay, my life is incredible. My life is amazing. And I just started to tear up and cry. And that would have never have happened before, because at that moment I was in the right here and the right now. And I knew for me that there was no other better place to be, and that was that one time. And I'm not going to lie to you. Today, the squirrels in the cages, they're running again. They are flying in my head, which, thank God for this program, the self-awareness is there to say, look, man, instead of, punching my dashboard at a red light, maybe it's time to look, a little further. And I also remember the first day in that sober house, sitting on the bed saying, how the hell did I get here? I says, I need my family back. I need my friends back. I need a place of my own. I need a good, steady 40-hour-a-week job. And I demanded that from my God. I demanded it, And I mentioned before, man, you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans, And actually, a year and a half later, I got a job that I love doing. Believe it or not, I get paid to get yelled at on the phone. I work for a Charter Cable, and anytime something's wrong, I'm the guy that you get after that long-time auto system. And I get screamed at, I get yelled at. I get one guy ask me, "Are you stupid or do you just suck at your job?" It's how do you answer that? I suck at my job, sir. I don't know. It's the guy had me baffled on that one. But you know what? But I know today I don't take it personal, and I don't, I'm one of 1,000 call center people across the nation that could have gotten that call, you know? But it's wild because 99 out of 100 calls are like old people that screwed up the input or they don't know the remote, something like that, and I fixed their problem. And 99 out of 100, like some are in tears saying, thank you, I need my TV. Thank you so much, thank you, God bless you, blah, blah, blah. It's that one call that sticks in my kitchen, where like 3 days later, I'll like wake up and go, you know what I should have said, you know? And I don't know much, but I can guarantee this guy isn't saying, you know that cable guy, you know what I should have said to him, you know? I'm not in his head. Why the hell should I be why should he be in mine? But that's the control that other people, places, and things had in my life and have when I don't work this program. My sponsor once told me, if your happiness, if your well-being is contingent on other people, places, and things, he says, you're screwed. You know, and it's the truth. It's, why should I have, and this is the way it was before. If my partners were in a good mood, or my wife at the time was in a good mood, then it's like, then my day's good. You know what I mean? And that's really living in hell with me. And I didn't realize it at the time. But, so yeah, now fast forward 4 years later, I moved once again. I live in a house off of Burncoat Street, beautiful, beautiful area. Been at this job 2 years. My family is back in my life, and those friends that I screwed over pretty good, they're talking to me again, and that's a start. You know, instead of like, I want it all right here, right now, I accept that, you know, hi, how are you, is huge accomplishment for me. So I thank God today. However, I got news from the mechanic yesterday that there's that my car, like one of the cylinders is gone, and he's looking into like replacing the engine, and it's going to cost this and that. So now here I am. Now I'm just like, okay, now I don't have a car anymore. He says you can drive it, but this is eventually down the road. You really got to look into this and stuff. But in my mind, it's like, okay, I'm going to a dealer now. I was thinking on like taking a piece of tape and putting it over the check engine light and go to a dealer, see if he doesn't notice. You know, I just crazy thoughts, which is why I come here, and I'm so grateful that I'm here today. When I went into step 4, first of all, I picked the Big Book Step Study sponsor. This always cracks me up. The only reason why I chose him is he was wearing a Boston Red Sox hat. And I'm like, all right, at least we'll have something to talk about, you know. But that guy's still my sponsor today. He's an amazing, amazing guy. But he brought me through this system. And it's like, when I first looked at it, I like look at the whole thing. It's like the entire step 4, this, that, the 3 categories. My God, how am I ever, you know? He's like, man, just start writing down people you have resentments against, you know? Then the fears. What are you afraid of? You know, and that was like the height of my listening, because you people just helped me out so much in this, because like with me, I was like, I was trying to be like all like AA-ish and big bookish, going like, I fear the not letting go and letting God. I fear, you know, and then, you know, I came up with like 3 of them, 3 fears. And then like someone in the room, I forget which meeting or whatever, we were talking about this step, they go like, yeah, on my list, you know, I got spiders, you know, and I'm like, you can put those down, you know? He's like, anything. And I'm like, well, hell yeah, you know? Boom, there that list went, you know? And then in there, there was another thing. I forget there's like a special name for it. But the fear of being married, the fear of not being married, you know, the fear of having children, the fear of never having children. It's like, wow, man, how do you win in that situation, you know? And with me, you go into that situation the best you can, and I trust and rely on God. I trust and rely that the God of my understanding will get me through it no matter what, you know? And I'll say 101 times out of 100, the fear that I am facing is nowhere even close to what I built it up in my mind. You know, it's truly amazing for me today. I've had the about two years ago, I had a year and a half ago, I had like the worst day of my life. I got a speeding ticket. All right, that son of a gun got me for going 94 in a 65 zone. Of course, it wasn't my fault. You know, whatever. He gave me a ticket. Of course, now I hate the entire police department. I hate, you know, anything to do with the police, blah, blah, blah. I ended up protesting that ticket. And I had to go to Palmer. And my dad's in a nursing home because he couldn't walk. But he had pretty good health. He just couldn't walk. So he was in this nursing home. And I usually go every Monday because I don't have Mondays off. And I went and I go visit him. And this Thursday, I went to Palmer, and I did my, got my ticket, and I got off on the ticket. So I was all psyched, all excited, so I'm like, all right, now I'm going to go see my mom, because it's kind of like the halfway point between my mom's house and there. And as soon as I get there, she's like, you know, I'm going to see Dad, you want to go? And I'm like, absolutely. So I went, I spent the entire afternoon. Dad's like, hey, what are you doing here, blah, blah, blah. You know, and my dad had like the start of like dementia too, so he was forgetting a real lot. But, you know, great conversation with him. And actually, through this, side note, through this program, I was able to make amends to him. And what he told me was, you know, I started off with specific things, and he goes, I can't remember what I had for breakfast. He goes, the only thing I remember about you is you were always a good kid, you know. And I'm like, wow, man, thank you, you know, and that's because of this program. But anyways, hung out with him all afternoon, and it was awesome. Went to my sister's that night. And I was having, you know, dinner with them, and I'm like, you know, if that cop never gave me the ticket, then I would never have had this day with my family, you know. But at my sister's, the nursing home called my sister and said my dad got taken to the emergency room, and my sister's like freaking out. I'm like, no problem. You do what you got to do, because she has a son and a 5-year-old. So I'm like, do what you got to do. I'll go to the hospital. I'm like, I'm sure with, you know, Dad's so forgetful, he probably forgot to breathe. And I'll just, you know, I'll just remind him to breathe, and we'll be all good. So I get to the hospital, and she's like, is anyone else coming? I'm like, my sister's on her way. She goes, why don't you go wait in the family room? And I'm like, you know, I've been to this emergency room like millions of times. I never even knew you had a family room. I go, what's going on, you know? And my dad had a massive heart attack, and he died that night, you know? And yeah, and it sucked, but if that guy didn't pull me over, I would have never have had that afternoon with him, you know? And that's what I can look at now, all that stuff, you know what I mean? This stuff I'm going through now, the stuff that's in my head going crazy now, I know it's going to be all right. But I want it to be all right by the end of this meeting. You know, I want everything to be good by the end of this meeting, you know? I want my car to... Where's Rob? Get out there. Work on my car, will you? But anyways, I was... Actually, during this process, I've never been so fearful and so scared as to my dad's wake. I was so scared that I was literally paralyzed. I was sitting on the bed getting ready, and I couldn't move. And I prayed, and I was still fearful. But I slowly got ready, and I was still scared through like the entire night. And at the end of that night, I'm like, look, you know, I don't get it. It says in the big book that once we pray, fear is removed. You know what I mean? And I called actually my friend Sarah on that, and she's like, no, man. She's like, it doesn't say fear will be removed like that. It says immediately fear starts. Little help? Commences to remove fear or whatever. And I'm like, and that's what happened to me. It wasn't to a point where I was like, whew, all right, I'm good, let's go, you know? It was to a point where just enough that I could keep moving that one next step, you know, and make it through the night and be there for my mother, my sister, my brother-in-law, and my nephew, you know, and everyone else, his sisters, his nephews and nieces, the list goes on, you know, with the lives that this man touched. And it was just so great, you know, it was so great. Then the next day at the funeral, it was even a better experience, you know, and I don't know. I mean, I would I would so turn that around to like, man, poor me. Everybody look at me, please. I just lost my father. I'm the first person ever to lose a father. Help me, God, the thoughts were just crazy. But today I just trust and rely, when I work this program and when I get up and when I pray. And I don't know, man. The answer's there. I just got to look for it. The answer's right in front of me. I just got to look for it. And as far as fear being the opening, what I said when I first started, like just the ultimate thread that whatever that line is through my body, that just it ruled my life. It ruled my life with the jobs that I took, with the girls I went out with the friends that I had. It's like my choice of a girlfriend growing up would be like whether or not everyone else approved of her. Who gives a crap what I feel about her? How is she with everyone else? Everyone else thinks she's cool? Then I'll go out with you. That's just the fear. And I didn't even pick up a drink yet. I didn't even have a drink in my hand till I was late in high school. But that fear has always been there, and that fear will always be there, ruling my life. It's whether or not I let it, and whether or not I do look, and I do trust and rely on the God of my understanding. It's just, this program is such a gift. And if you're in these chairs today and you're kind of like looking at the clock, wanting to get out of here, man, I was there. I was so there. I hated these meetings. They're too long. I can't speak. I don't care what anyone else says. Please give it a shot. Listen, this program, this process. And I don't want to be like the big, cheerleader, but the only thing that I know is like somewhere in the United States, there's like someone that can do just one step without a sponsor and find eternal happiness. The only thing I know is I'm not that guy. All right? This is what I need. These meetings are what I need. You people are what I need. And my Big Book Step Study sponsor, my God and my understanding, my AA friends, my family, that's what I need for my ultimate happiness. And thanks so much for letting me share. And you guys have a great weekend.